Happy Wednesday and welcome back to PreciseAlgorithmTrading.com. It's Wednesday, June 21st, 2023. We're coming up on the end of another month here in another week or so, and another holiday day off, and that'll mess with the markets too. So let's go through our standard stuff here. We got the S&P 500, which I'm actually looking to rebuild um, this indicator to add uh, like month to date, because we're going to be like right now we're on June, and 60% of the time, I'm going to go ahead and highlight this just because it's like that, and this indicator right here, June 60% of the time, the S&P goes up by an average of 0.08%, and what I'd like in front of that is like month to date, so we can like track against that. So that's going to take me a little time to get that thing built, um, which is fine. Then you can see July, 90% of the time out of 10 years, because this, I have to turn this off to get this, but this, when you go to here and you go to time frame, I got 10 years set in here. If I switch this to 20 years, July, 75%, it had to go through and do some math. 75% of the time in 20 years, it goes up by an average of 2.13%. Now, what that's doing is it's taking all the last 20 years, it's adding all the adds or the pluses and minuses together of the month of July, and it's coming up with 75% of the time it's up, and the average of all of that is 2.13%. So if one time it's up 5% and one time it's up 0, those two things added together is 2.5. So you can't read too much into this, but it is, I think it's useful. I'd like to build the calculation a little bit better than that, but that's how I've got it for now. So in 10 years, 90% of the time it's up 3.12% on average in July. So we got that to kind of look forward to. So in the meantime, I'm going to look for this pull back probably into this zone, maybe a little bit of a hook, and then a potential rise. Now, what that could look like is more like something like this, and then a rise, and it could go out. I mean, literally weeks to make that all like play out. Because if you look at, let's look at one. I'm not sure even. I'd have to pull one off the, totally off the shelf. It's like this. So something like, I mean, this kind of a move, but it could be like this before it goes up. And there's a lot of times when we're seeking out these new highs that you'll get a move down, a pull up, another move down, and then a pull up, something like a cup and a handle, and or I've got actually a position on right now. I think it's EA Sports. This is now, this is dead today. I'm gonna kill it tomorrow, or I could set a stop. But um, if the market's up big in the morning, I might change my mind here. But this looks like a dish pattern to me with a handle, and it's failed. So typically, you're going to get a dish pattern like this with a handle, and then you're going to get a move higher out of that. It's going to break this high right here. So the fact that it's failed, I mean, that sucks, but it's okay. I got an awful lot of reasons. This one is the biggest. This one is a reason. That's a blue candle right there. We could hold on until we get a failure here, but I'm really in it's kind of a short-term and a long-term position here, so I'm probably just going to kill it. I could set, this is where this highlighter is going to come in handy. I could set a stop right in this area right here, and if it goes below that, then it's going to get stopped out. Or I can just say, I want out, and there's even a chance, like based on what's going on here in the futures, that we're going to get a little bit of a rally and then a move lower. And so if I get a little bit of a rally in the morning and it gets out on that rally, that's great. And then you can see here that 70% of the time in July over the last 10 years, we got a move of up 2.18%. Now, I could say right now, this 60% of the time we get a move of up 1%. Unless this thing gets up and going in the next week, then we're not going to see that. I don't think. I'd have to actually look at the math from where we closed. Yeah, we closed the month last month here. This thing's got to get back up there and plus 1% to do that. Is that possible? Sure. Is it likely with this down pressure right now? No, it's not. We'd have to get a reversal on this in a week. And if we get that, by the way, we'll get an arrow, and then we can play it this that way. Why not just get out, protect your money, and then move higher? So, anyways, that's a cup and a handle that failed. I could show you probably examples. INTC right now. I'm not sure. Oh, there you go. There's a cup and a handle that worked. So, same kind of thing. We got a dish pattern. It actually went a little further than I'd like before it came up, and then it broke that zone and then took off. Well, that's a playable move, and all this worked, and this all stayed bullish while that was happening, even in the face of this pulling down and pulling back up again, which is kind of what I'm talking about now. That was I think I had a position on, lived through that because I was like, well, I'll just hold because this is good. So, all right, that's enough of that. Sorry to get down the pike of individual trades, but that kind of it's what we do here. So the S&P, actually the S&P 500 itself had a semi-looking dish pattern that took off. I mean, this hump right here throws it off a little bit, but still. So we're in this pullback zone right now, and that's the case for a little bit of everything. You can kind of see, I mean, this was a downward sloping channel, but then when we got the breakout, we were going up. So, from here, what do I expect? I mean, I'm going to go ahead and keep highlighting because, I mean, this could bounce from here at this line, or it can still pull back into this line and get everybody really shook up. This is just to the overbought territory at this point. You can see sometimes they go way up into it. This could roll over and die right here for sure. This is still bullish. They got a yellow arrow right there, and that's a powerful signal. It's probably not as powerful as the green ones, but when you get the green and the yellows next to each other, that's pretty powerful. So, yeah. And I drew this line on here, this one, weeks ago, and it looks like it was crawling up it for a whole week and a half. Now we've pulled back off of it, and we're going to form probably a channel. And I would guess the channel to take some form of this to some extent. I mean, it's probably, I could draw that, and then something like that that's going to be parallel to it. So I'm expecting us to come down into this zone. All right. The Russell. I mean, it had a similar, this, for what it's worth in my book, that's an impulse move. Then you get a pullback. And then you get a third wave that usually exceeds the first wave. So, but you get the impulse move and then the pullback. The pullback's to get everybody trying to shoot the other direction so that the market can take it higher from there and rip all those people's faces off that try to go short. So, And if you even look at it on a weekly basis over here, we had an impulse move and a pullback and then another move that really didn't exceed the previous one. So I'm still waiting on one. If this was another impulse move and a pullback, this one needs to get up and going and exceed the previous one. Or else, we could be into, something more dire than that. But there's an awful lot of reasons to think that this market wants to go higher. And most of them to me are this gold line right here. I mean, this price, if it closes up above that for the month, then I'm telling you, we got potential months higher. If it doesn't, then it's going to be thrashing back and forth like it has been. We got up past it. We even closed above it and then failed. Well, that was round one of trying to get up above the gold Harvard line. Well, maybe this is round two, and maybe we'll make it. And I'm telling you, if we go back on the chart in time, when we actually get a new breakout and I can prove it to you, when we get a new trend going to the upside, after the first failure, there's one, there's even another one that failed. So that's two failures and a pullback. And then the third one, and you can see what happened after that. Take off. So there's the one that pulled back and failed. I'm sorry, there's the one that failed. There's the one that pulled back and closed above that, and then it just stair-stepped its way up. Which that would be a miserable place to take a stop loss for, but literally what I'm looking for is a takeoff like that, which is multi-month higher prices, just when everybody's not expecting it for what it's worth, because nobody would be expecting it right now, hardly. And then the NASDAQ, this is another reason why I think it could happen, because look, it's already happening, and markets tend to follow each other. So this one came up, failed, came up, made it, pulled back, came up, closed last month above this line, actually well above it, even though it pulled back a little bit, and now we're off to the races. So unless the NASDAQ starts to fail below these lines, then the other markets are going to follow it. I think it's that simple. The Dow transports, I should say. I mean, they're up above on a closing basis right now. If they close above there for the month, which we have another week, they close above that line for the month, then that means the transports are also following the markets and the Nasdaq and whatnot. So we actually need some other stocks in the markets to be rising and trending higher, instead of just the FANG stocks: Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, and Google. And there's another one in there, Apple. That was, did I get them all? I think I did. And then USO, oil. I took a long trade. I don't think I got the whole thing, so I'm going to go ahead and set a little bit of a pullback order here. And of course I'm doing it live, so it's going to give me fits while we wait on the computer. If this thing pulls back a little bit, and I fully kind of expect it to, I'm going to be able to fill out an order there. I really need to call Thinkorswim and go through some maintenance things with them and get some stuff fixed or ported over to another version. So, alright, so I've got my order set in there. Or not order, but it's an alert. So if it pulls back, I can buy more of a position. As of right now, I'm up in this position. So if it pulls back, yeah, I'm going to be at a minimal loss at that point, or not as much of a gain right now. But that's where you can like double up and get in a little bit more. And again, I don't want to belabor this, but look, it tried to get above these lines a couple months ago, failed. It's coming back up again like it wants to. If it does and it closes above that line by the end of the week, which looks like a tall order to me, then although this is one standard deviation, that's 1.5, and that's 2. If we get up into the 1.5 standard deviations or even a little bit higher, then we could do it, especially if you get a move like that. And then I'm saying oil does the same thing. Historically, you can see it on the chart. TLT bonds. Yeah, I think I'm in a full position here, and we are moving a little bit higher, and it looks like it's okay to go. So I am still concerned back here because this is all red. This is all red. Although we're in a squeeze, so if we can get this thing up and going here, then it should work out that way in a fractal way over there. Because this, if this gets up and going, this won't have any choice but to get up and going. Alright, I'm going to leave it at that for the markets. Move over here to the internals. Bullish percent indexes. And here's the industrials. Oh, look at that. We got a nice pop on the industrials today. That's unexpected. I think the Dow was down 102 points. At one point, I think it was double that. So this is this column of X's I'm showing here, or that I'm looking at. We need to get, I really like this highlighter tool, we need to get up above that level right there, which is one more box and another box to get a point and figure buy signal. Well, I guess another point and figure buy signal, because this was one and that's one, and then this column of O's didn't exceed that column of O's to the downside, so we are already on a point and figure buy signal there, but we need confirmation of another one going higher. So that's interesting, and bullish. Here's the NYA, down 0.73% today, so not much. By the way, I looked it up. The NYA has about 8,000 stocks in it. I'm sure that moves around with stocks coming and going, companies coming and going. This one didn't move today. It's at 80%. The NASDAQ down 1.43%. The SPX down 0.32%, which isn't much. The OEX, the S&P 100, unchanged, and I think the NDX flipped. Yeah, so the NDX flipped. We are on a point and figure buy signal, and I'll just point that out again. There's a column of X, and there's the one that exceeded it to the upside. And unless this comes all the way down and exceeds that column of X or O's into that zone, then we'll be on a point and figure buy signal for a bit. So we got above 70 and now we're under 70, so that's could be cause for concern, because you can see when that happens, it rolls over sometimes and dies. This has been pretty constructive to come up though, and back and forth, and if you, I don't even know, you can't really see that. We had some of that here, but it was more volatile. And yeah, you can't even see it anywhere else on this chart over the last few years. So what else? Yeah, that was it. So then we'll flip over to our automatic trading systems, and this is again just a pain in the behind. This is the YM, the Dow pulled back all of what it gave us yesterday, which blows. But if you look at it on a yearly basis, it's fine. Really want it to get up and going again, to take this and turn it into that, and wouldn't that be fun? That's what we're waiting on. You just got to be patient, and it is like here, by the way, this period of time from here to here is like, I don't even know, 3-4 months now, and we got one green dot to show for it, which is, that's just miserable to take. But anyways, this is the Russell, and we had a little bit of a pullback on it today. It's probably one trade, and it's looking still fine here. We really, again, want to get this kind of trajectory going off of this, and you know, generally speaking, this is potentially workable. So not very many trades. I got something else I looked at. With one contract I can get to, actually with 3 contracts I can get to this same value, and this is 9 contracts, but it trades more often, so you have to spend more money in fees to TradeStation, and right now I don't really think the trade-off's worth it. It's probably about the same, and I think it'll actually go up at the same general clip. So, and then the NASDAQ, it's our favorite, my favorite, and this pullback was hard to take today, but then it gave us a lot back. That's literally like 2 trades, and I'm going to show them to you. This is what it looks like on a 6-month or on a year-long basis, which is just awesome. These are the 2 trades I wanted to show you in real. I mean, this is what really happened. There's a lot of trash trades that happened down through here. And this is the big loser. You can see a red line here that lasted through the middle of the morning, and then you can see a great blue line here that lasted through the middle of the from noon till the middle of the afternoon. So that's literally like, if you before, like there was a point in time I looked at the charts, or at my profit and loss statement, and it's like, wow, we're really down. That's where you just want to quit in this middle of the day time. And then this one got a hold, and you go, there's no way it's going to take back all this loss, and it almost did in one trade, which is pretty awesome. Now, you know, what am I looking to do? Try to get rid of this chop out of our code, but you know, I've gotten rid of a lot, and it's pretty good. But if anybody's got good ideas on that knows how to trade, I'm all ears on how do you get rid of this chop, because there's just a ton of it in every market that I look at. So with that, guys, I will leave you, and we will talk to you again on Thursday. Good luck, everybody, tomorrow. Take care. Good trading, and have a good night.